and apparently a tenant was in there, and they were trying to get rid of a tenant, and the tenant had a gun, or said they had a gun to the landlord. The landlord took off, and the SWAT were out there for 5 hours negotiating to get this tenant out who hadn't paid rent for a year and a half.
What?
Yeah. Sarah's saying, get out of my kitchen.
Yeah. She's saying, no, not on my... There's too many scratches on my countertop.
Oh, jeez. That was Simone.
So what's going on, Cam?
Not much, man. Not
Big
much.
week for you guys?
Yeah. We're moved into the new primary residence, so it's been hectic, as any move is. So it's, been a lot juggling, a little bit of everything, real estate, busy.
Still teaching?
No, off this week.
Off this week, yeah.
The Lord.
Little break?
Yeah, no, it's been crazy. Humber's just, I don't know what it is. They're just packed. People are wanting to get registered, wanting to get their license. And, I know last week Humber ran these sim sessions, 15 of them, which there's 24 learners in each session. So, these new sim sessions that are new where you essentially have to do this.
That was in 1 week?
1 week, yeah.
So that's 360 students in
Ontario.
Week. In Ontario.
In all of Ontario. Next week there's 18 sessions.
Wow.
And there's sim 1 and 2, right? So 1 is residential, 2 is commercial, and they have to do both. So there's probably, I don't know, divided by 2, 8 or 9 per. But getting new registrants that's every week that are once they're finished the second sim, they're basically done, and they're registered.
Bro, that's 18,000 new realtors a year.
What did you do on that?
I did. You said there was
like 9 times 24.
Okay, so I did 15 times 24.
Yeah, because it's not because they do sim 1, which is the residential one,
and
then they do have to do the commercial side, which is the sim 2, and then they can get registered. So
that's 11,000.
Yeah.
New realtors
per month,
per year.
That's not bad.
Still a lot.
In all of Ontario too, right?
Yeah,
like Windsor to Ottawa to...
Yeah, fair. You're getting a couple thousand. You're going to have most in the GTA probably. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting. How's Madison coming along, the duplex?
Pretty good, yeah. We kind of not put things on pause. The plumbers are chipping away, finishing up, and waiting on permits for Ajax. But, Madison's going well. Yeah. It's plugging along now. I had that video out this week.
Mm-hmm. You run into any obstacles there yet?
Not really. Trying to think. Get the permits was the toughest, and then figuring out materials was actually okay. People keep asking us, "Hey, has materials been slow?" Getting trades to go. Like this week, I think has been a slower week. Like we just have the plumbers going, getting them to finish up, and then next week we'll start installation after inspections. But no. It's been pretty smooth sailing. We had a lot of time to prep for that, right? Because of, the 2-month wait. It was 9 weeks it ended up being to get permits. So we kind of got all our ducks in order from that side of things. And, so that's been all right. Ajax has been surprising how long Ajax has taken to get the permits. Yeah, because we're just doing this basement, finishing it, right? We're not even doing an apartment or anything. They're making us put an egress window in the basement bedroom. They made me sign an affidavit saying I'm not putting a legal basement apartment in, which is kind of interesting to me. I'm going to see what the inspector actually says if we have to do that, because it's, to my understanding, not something that needs to be done, right? Unless
who told you to put an egress window in the basement?
City of Ajax.
The City of Ajax did.
I think they're convinced we are going to have some type of...
So you're hoping to speak to the inspector to see if you in fact need that?
I basically said, yeah, sure. I'll let's tell the people that are approving the drawings, because as you know, there's a disconnect between the people that approve the drawings and then what the actual inspector will make you do. I don't know any of the Ajax inspectors, but I'm going to say to them, hey, why do we need an egress window in here? That's not in the building code. To my understanding, maybe it's something I don't know. But again, even in basement apartments, you don't need an egress window in the basement bedroom. You need it in the basement somewhere.
Yeah.
But not in each bedroom, just have to have the natural light. So why are we having to put it in when we're putting in just a bedroom, no kitchen?
So Ajax is asking for in a bedroom?
Yeah.
In a bedroom.
Yeah.
Have you had to get a permit for a basement in Oshawa to see if if those rules make
That's a good
sense
question.
across the board.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Like, it's only ever been for full legal basements, right? But
Yeah.
I don't mind it at the same time because I'm like, we're already going to make the window bigger anyway. Might as well put it in and make it a feature when we sell it. But
Yeah, I mean, you hear that there's a big disconnect between all the municipalities anyways, so
how they
there's probably a
building
big
code.
difference. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a big difference anyways.
What's going on with you?
Things are good. We've started plumbing at Floral. So they've dug, hopefully plumbing should be done by next week, which is nice. And then we'll do an inspection. We're ready for a framing inspection, but it's such a mess down there that...
Because of the plumbing?
Because of the plumbing.
I guess they don't want to do the framing inspection. Can you do the framing inspection before the plumbing?
Yeah. But the plumbing's already started.
Yeah.
So there was like a little period where plumbing started and framing was finishing up. And I didn't want to call in the inspector like while they were both there because there's a lot of people there too.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just going to wait for the plumbing to be done and then bring in the inspector. Well, we were fortunate because there was 3 walls that were finished that we didn't have to open up. So it helps that there's a couple walls that are already finished. They'll just have to be like painted again.
Yeah.
So that helps us a bit. So in terms of framing, it's not a full framing of the basement. It's like essentially one side is getting framed while the other side is staying as is.
Yeah.
So that'll save us some time, but yeah, it's been good. So far, so good. No obstacles along the way. That's good. Central Park framing is passed. Insulation's in, vapor barriers, drywall next week. Nice. We're hoping drywall's done in a week. In 3 days, mud tape.
That one seems slower. Why does that one seem slower?
So...
is it slower or is it just me?
No, it is slower. So it essentially took us 2.5 months to get approval for a revision. So that's that. And we couldn't really make progress on the revision, on the items that we were trying to revise, until the framing was completed because the revision required, like one of the bedrooms,
you're putting a window in.
We're putting a window in, and we have to put in a fire-rated window, which seems to be like a big obstacle. Like, can't really find a fire-rated window.
What do you mean fire-rated window?
So, the way this house is set up is that from the kitchen, there's a door. There's a side door. You open the side door. You step out. You take a couple steps down, and where you're taking the steps down is where the bedroom is and where the window is going to be. So they're saying in the event that there's a fire upstairs, right? Let's say there's a fire in the kitchen, someone opens that door right next to the kitchen and flames are shooting out. That window closest to the staircase has to be a fire-rated window.
Wow. Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Exactly. First time for me. So the it's a special glass. It's a special framing. It's like a metal frame. Like it.
What did that cost you for the window?
I think the window alone, like, dude, it's like a 17 by 17 window. I think we're gonna be like $1,000 just for the window.
And then to install it too. Shit.
And then cut out, install, finish. Yeah.
It's like a egress window on steroids.
Yeah, and it's 17 inches by 17 inches.
Yeah. Did you see the egress window in Madison?
Yeah, from the video. Yeah.
4 feet by 4 feet.
Yeah. That's huge. So we actually, after I saw yours, I was like, man, it'd be nice to just have a really big window down there. Yeah. So I called Clinton.
Inspired you, eh?
And I was like, hey, Clinton.
Make this thing bigger?
Yeah, make this thing bigger. So
might as well.
We're going to go 36 by 30 for us.
Yeah. Might as well. That's kind of my thinking. It's like, hey, you're going to put one in there. Basement.
So is yours bigger than the drawing?
No.
That's what the drawing called for?
We said draw one in, drawing a big monster, right? And he did. And that's what we put in. And yeah.
And no issues like with being under frost lines or anything?
No, I was worried about that too. And no, Clinton said we were good and all that. So I was like, okay, yeah.
Cool, yeah.
So
yeah,
we'll see.
Nice. Yeah, it's huge value add, man. Like,
well, that's what I mean. It's
So what we're going to do is another way to bringing light into the unit. So yes, bigger egress, but also the door that enters into the lower unit, we're going to do a cutout and we're going to put a glass in the door. So that gets some natural light as well. Yeah.
No, it's such a big thing nowadays, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's, yeah, I saw on your Insta you lost in multiples
Yeah,
last night.
lost an offer. There was 9 offers. Top 2 improved by 10K, and they took a lower offer.
With what explanation?
The other person's personal letter was more personable.
Bigger deposit, closing?
No. Pretty much similar.
Both firm offers?
Both firm, 30 days close. Yeah.
Wow, that hurts.
Yeah, hurts big time. And I've been driving to Peterborough a lot. Oh my God. To a point where I'm not even taking my car. I'm taking Sarah's car.
No, you can't put the miles on the Benz. Come on, man. Yeah, jeez.
Oh my God. But yeah, so lost that. But I am starting to see more properties come to market that are duplex conversion potential. Like I went and saw one today. Super happy with it.
Where was that one?
That was on Wayne Street.
Oh, I like Wayne.
Yeah. Centennial North Oshawa.
Yeah.
Beautiful area. 43 by 115.
Yep.
So just under 5,000 square feet, but beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful lot.
Awesome.
Nice detached garage in the back. So we'll see.
What was that priced at?
$599.
6, so it's going to go...
7.
Think 7?
Probably.
Needs a full rental? Is it worth 9 after?
Apparently.
Somebody's paying that.
Someone's paying for it. Yeah.
Well, we had offers on our North Oshawa house last night, and we had 7 offers. We listed at $798, so just under 8. We were hoping for $950 was kind of the goal. We had 3 in the 8s. We had one at like $920, $940, and then $960, and then one at $1,025,000.
That was the first offer?
First offer, firm, $45K deposit.
Yeah.
Just came for negotiations, sit down with our clients. We're like, nothing to do here. We're taking this. We're not even going to, you can't even try to increase that. You don't even want to increase that. I'm worried about that appraising at that appraise. Yeah, so it was interesting. And this is what we were talking about last episode, right? Of the blind bidding wars and that too. And it's like, they know they were going against 6 offers. That's all they knew. And, you know, clients obviously super happy, the sellers and that, but
out of town buyers.
Yeah. From Toronto. Yeah. Had lots of money. So we mentioned, hey, what if this doesn't appraise? They were like, no problem. So no issues. It was interesting. And so.
Cool. So I wanted to talk about a new strategy on properties. And I've actually been following a few people making this type of purchase. And maybe I can even pull up the listing just to show and have it here. But essentially what I've been noticing is that this particular buyer, so he's a mortgage broker and his wife's an agent.
Okay.
And let me just show you the property.
He's a mortgage broker and his wife's an agent?
Yeah. Like a
Do
real
I know
estate
him?
agent. No, I don't
Okay.
think so.
I was trying to think of who it was.
All right, let's record this. We're gonna share this with all our viewers so everyone can see. So record. Are we recording? I think we're recording. Yes. So let me give you the stats, okay? Whitby bungalow, detached bungalow, 85 by 190 foot lot.
Wow.
Okay, Thixton and Manning, so Bluegrass Meadows. What do we got? 3 bedrooms up, 1 down, 1 bathroom upstairs, 1 in the basement, separate entrance. No, there's no separate living in the basement. So it's just one detached property. Okay, listed for $899, sold for $1,050,000.
I was gonna say more than that.
Yeah, $1,050,000. So
this is an investor buy?
this is an investor buy.
Okay.
So what are your first thoughts?
Land severance.
Land severance, cool. So I spoke to him and I said, what's the play here? Like, what are you trying to do? And the answer was, I'm going to hold it for 5 years. And then after 5 years, I'm going to go through the severance and I'm going to essentially I'm going to get two 40-foot lots out of it, and I'm going to build 35 to 4,000 square foot homes on it. I said, okay, cool. Let's run the million numbers. So 1050, a million 50, 20% down.
So that's 500,000 per piece of property, which is kind of currently what it's at.
Yeah.
So they're predicting in the future it'll be more.
Yeah. So I said, okay, cool. I said, so what are you going to do in the short term? Aren't you just going to lease it out? He's like, yeah, I'll lease it out to one family. I was like, okay, so you're going to take a $1,400 hit a month? He's like, yeah. And I was like, you sound really confident. Like you're okay with funding all that for now? And he goes, yeah, no problem. He's like, I'm going to take $1,000 hit every month. That's $12,000 a year. He goes, at a 1% appreciation over 5 years, I'm technically going to recoup my cost for all the losses he's taking in the hold period. So he's like, he's going to recoup his costs that way from an appreciation perspective, and he's going to build a bank of losses and use it towards his future gains that he's going to produce. And he's essentially saying, I'll rent it out for $2,500 for a few years. When construction cost goes down, I'll sever and I'll build. He's like, right now, a brand new detached house in Whitby starts at $1.3 million. He's confident, or he's saying across the street sold for $2.3 million, a brand new build. So he's saying in 5 years, I'm confident that I could be minimum $2.5 million per lot.
So 5 million total.
Yeah.
Minus the cost of build.
Yeah. Probably netting around $1 million.
Possibly more.
Yeah. So
200,000 a year though. I'd hope it's more than $1 million, right?
Yeah.
Like, because $200,000 a year.
Yeah.
Like, I would say, why not do it right now?
It could be. He's saying right now he's getting quotes. Price per square foot is around $450.
Yeah, it's a development play, right? It's a land development play.
Yeah.
If you got the funds for it, if you got the cojones for it to ride out a 5-year plan like that, just good money there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a $1.2 million build essentially to build a 3,000 square foot house. So 1.2 plus 500K, you're at 1.7. Sell for 2.3, just over 500K per lot. Not bad.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of, we've talked about it in previous episodes about I love big lots too for the potential of what's going to happen, but I'd still like to have more security personally. Especially with garden suites coming, legal 2 units, cash flowing right from day one. Yeah. Not taking that loss, because what if it doesn't? What if the market corrects here?
Yeah, huge speculation play.
Well, that's what I mean, right? Like, and he's got the land, right? He's got the land and the lot size, and I don't think that will ever, again, he's being super conservative at 1%. Inflation's going to be 3%, right? At least. So, I don't mind the play. I don't mind it. It's different, right?
Different strategy. I think you need different type of pocket for that. Different appetite of risk. You got to be in that mindset of, when you're building, are you going to be in charge of the build? Or are you going to outsource it out? Are you playing that into your numbers? It's a different type of...
It's essentially a land development flip. They don't want to deal with tenants. They don't want to deal with... Well, they are still going to be dealing with tenants, but not, what I mean? It's not like a, buy and hold strategy.
Yeah.
It's, hey, let's kind of, not take huge losses for a few years. But then I would question, why not do it right now?
Yeah.
Like, what's stopping them from demoing it? And if the numbers make sense now, which it sounds like they still do, why wait 5 years?
Yeah.
Funds maybe doesn't have the money.
Could be funds. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people are banking on construction costs going down.
I don't think they're going to go down.
You think
someone said that to me too? They're like, "Oh, well, lumber's high right now," and I'm like, "What? You're gonna avoid?" It's the same people that say like, the market's high right now, and I'm like, "What? You're gonna wait? Do you think it's gonna go down?"
Yeah.
I'm not gonna wait for lumber to go down and be like, "Oh, let's wait till I get a 10% dip in lumber prices before I.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You know, I mean, lumber prices gone up, but houses prices have
Everything
gone
has
up.
gone up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, the cost to build has gone up.
We had that conversation when we were doing our deck and our fence last year. We were saying let's wait until this year for prices to go down. Sure enough, they didn't. So we started building. Yeah. And a week after we started building, prices went up on deck boards.
Yeah.
On fence boards.
We just ordered the materials. They were delivered yesterday for our primary residence. We're doing a composite deck because we priced out lumber versus the composite deck. Yeah. And the composite deck was still more expensive, but not triple. It used to be like triple to get a composite deck. Now it was like, not even double. Yeah. So we're like, okay, anymore, it's a no-brainer now to do the composite instead of paying for the lumber costs. So that kind of steered us towards that. But
yeah, it's funny. We did that calculation too, and I think it was still like an additional $6,000.
Still more expensive.
Yeah. So what we decided to go with wood, and then our logic was that $6,000 we can like buy furniture and do our gardening, our landscaping, whatever.
Yep.
But I agree. Like it's getting that gap is getting a lot smaller now.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's interesting though. It's to me, it gives me a bit of comfort in seeing what people are doing, because I'm looking at these bungalows in Whitby and I'm saying, I like Whitby. I would want to be in Whitby. I'd want to invest in Whitby. What are the patterns? The patterns are people are paying a premium for them now with plans on, doing what we just spoke about. And they're essentially going to start creating comparables and comps for anyone wanting to do things like that, right? And they're essentially doing a test run of it to see if it works or not. And
but I mean, like, there's flippers and wholesalers making $100,000 in a month.
Yeah.
So if he's making 200,000, if he makes $1 million, $200,000 a year, it's really not a good return.
Yeah.
If you look at it, right? So I get it. It's like, but I'm like, hey, if you bought a property right now, fix it up yourself. If that's your strategy, you're a flipper developer.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But to each their own, right? This is the beauty of investing, right? It's not like, hey, they're still investing, they're still taking action. It's still a good play. It's just interesting to see everyone's perspectives and the different thoughts to it, right? Yeah. It's not always a one size fits all.
No, it never is. And when I was speaking to him, I was saying, why not have 2 tenants right now? So why not legalize it right now? And if you're in no rush to build, then fine, no rush to build, but at least you have two tenants. And argument to that was, well, I got to spend probably $100K to legalize it, and then I'm going to have 2 tenants to deal with 2 tenants. I don't want to deal with 2 tenants. I don't want to have to get rid of 2 tenants. I'd rather, get rid of 1 tenant when it's time to get rid of 1 tenant, which again was interesting. Like you said, like everyone has their own strategy. Whatever works for them works for them.
Speaking of tenants, so I'm on Instagram viewing a story from someone I sold a primary residence to. And so she's doing a story about, this is in Oshawa, house in Oshawa, and there is SWAT outside of her house, like Durham SWAT, whatever they're called, the name for it. And so they're out there surrounding their neighbor's house. And apparently a tenant was in there and they were trying to get rid of a tenant. And the tenant had a gun, or said they had a gun, to the landlord. The landlord took off, and the SWAT were out there for 5 hours negotiating to get this tenant out who hadn't paid rent for a year and a half.
What?
Yeah, it was on the news.
This was on the news.
Athabasca, Athabasca and Oshawa. So
that's your client?
My client was the neighbor's house. And it was just, it was their primary residence. So they're sitting there, and then she's doing stories, posting about it. And I'm going, like, responding, going, what? And then I see it on the news. That, I was
People
like,
are posting it on Facebook. And
I know.
Yeah. So what happened? Do you know what happened?
All I know is that it was a tenant that hadn't been paying for a year and a half, had an eviction order, eviction notice. The sheriff tried to get him out. Couldn't get him out. No.
God, what a story. Bless you. What a story. Yeah. I don't think I've heard it to that extreme.
Well, I know. And again, we're dealing with it a couple of the properties too, right? Where tenants, some are going down easy. I got that Whippy property off market. We got the tenants out for 2 months rent. So both upper and lower, which worked out to be about $5,000. So vacant possession of a $5,000 total. So it's $2,500.
They must be paying cheap rent.
Yeah, basement was like $925. So we gave them 2 months rent, and upper was paying $1,500. So $3,000 plus $1,800. Yeah, just under. Yeah, just under $5,000. Yeah. And again, got it conditional on getting that N11 side, in which it's been money.
That's pretty good. Yeah,
it's been money, that strategy.
They actually shot a gas canister into the house to get the tenant out.
Nice.
I heard about that.
There we go.
Yeah, they needed to smoke them out.
To smoke them out of the house. Hotbox the house.
Hey, LTB doesn't need change though. There's nothing wrong with it. Tenants can hold up in a year and a half and be frustrating.
I guess that's the other thing, right? Like in these scenarios, this person has not been paying rent for a year and has been getting away with it simply because of a backlog in administrative positions to be able to process these things.
It's the backlog, but it's the process too of like the forms you have to send
and dates, making sure the dates are correct on forms and
all that stuff, right? And I get it; it's people's primary residence, but you got to pay rent.
Yeah,
to me, paying rent is like paying your mortgage. What's the bank going to do if you stop paying your mortgage?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
there's no rules against that.
Yeah,
they can take you to power of sale right away. Right? It's
scary. I've been speaking to a few people who are investing out east, and they're saying, one of the reasons why they like being out there is because, the board favors the landlords more than the tenants, similar to like commercial here.
Yep.
Where if they don't pay within 16 days, you can go
But
in there.
Isn't out there the rent tied to like the unit or something?
Yeah,
like that?
apparently I think there's a max.
Where like you can only that the rent you can increase isn't open or something like that.
I'm not sure of the details.
Got to look into that. I know more and more people investing out east too, or even now out west. People are going back to Edmonton and stuff, and Calgary, and kind of seeing, hey, lots of stuff on Twitter about even people like just primary people from Ontario just cashing out and leaving. Had a listing appointment downtown Toronto yesterday. It was interesting because like this woman and her son had been in this house for 25 years. This house was right on Dundas and what was the other street? It was right on the edge of Leslieville and the Upper Beaches. Coxwell, I think it was. And so she bought this Toronto house, 2 stories. It's registered as a duplex, but she doesn't use it as a duplex anymore. She paid $124 for it.
$124,000.
Yeah. And like the average home price in that area is like 1.6 million. So I'm like, and she's, she had a reverse mortgage, chip mortgage, because she was having financial trouble, was essentially house poor. Right. And it was like, holy crap. I'm like, if you moved out to Durham, you'd have, her I think her mortgage she had on it was 300,000 that she owed. So I'm like, even if we sell this for 1.3, you have $1 million. Come out to Durham, go somewhere else, right? And she was like, just a Toronto person that was like, sitting on this massive equity, but house poor, right? And it's like, holy smokes! Like, I wonder how many people are like that, right? And it scares me when I see those situations too, because then even she was like, well, who's going to buy this house? I'm like, first-time home buyers.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, it's like, who is going to buy that? Like, it is kind of a first-time home buyer house or investor if they wanted to turn it to a duplex. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how that listing goes and how it plays out. But
yeah, I feel like there's still going to be good demand for Toronto real estate. Is it a detached property? It's a detached properity.
Yeah.
On like a decent sized lot, decent frontage.
It's okay. Yeah. For Toronto, I mean, it's like a 35 foot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was going to say, I feel like the minimum there is 20. Like if you have 20, you're fine.
I know. No, it's a solid lot. It's a solid house. It really is. Yeah. It's a nice house. It'll be not an easy sale, but it'll be desirable kind of thing. And she's going to clean it up, fix it up in that too. But it was just surprising how much equity she was sitting on. And
Did she know that she can access that?
she knew her house was a
equity?
lot, and that's
Yeah.
she did access it with the reverse mortgage, right? But she's paying 5% interest on it, which again is not too bad. And
Yeah.
but again, like, you know, from her perspective, it was like still a stress on her, and then so that mortgage's renewal
Yeah.
was coming up, so she had to decide if, you know.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about a reverse mortgage or a chip mortgage? Do you know how that
Yeah,
really works?
I don't know much about it. I know when essentially it's someone loaning, it's the bank loaning you money, and taking a piece of equity of your home, right? They're basically saying, hey, you know, you own your house outright. You know, we're going to give you money each and every month or each and every year, and you're going to owe us that money back when you sell the home, right?
Right.
So I don't know how that's different than a mortgage, though. Like in a mortgage, you essentially take out a mortgage on it and get that money up front, and then you pay it off. I think the idea is that they don't have income coming in. I'm not 100%
Yeah.
clear with it.
I see it being advertised all the time on commercials and such. And
I know, and I've looked into it a bit too, and it's just kind of one of those strange. But it's designed to help people that are in financial trouble but have a lot of equity. Like that's the whole goal of it. But then I would say, like, what's different from like a HELOC, pulling from a HELOC,
yeah.
get on your property, right? So
Right.
yeah.
What else? Are you seeing anything in the commercial space? Are you looking at that space? Are you looking at multifamilies? Have you spoke to your multifamily clients to see how things are going for them?
Yeah, no, there hasn't been much action there. Even the commercial side, lots of, you know, retail opportunity right now, but yeah, there isn't much that I'm seeing coming out right now. I think even multifamily perspective, there's not many properties. I don't know if you're seeing any that.
No, actually, not a lot.
Yeah.
The one thing I wanted to talk to you about was, so on the multifamily space, so 5-unit plus. So we know that the way those properties operate is just based on financials in terms of valuation, right? So if you were interested in investing in a multifamily, would you consider buying out of town? So still here, like still in Ontario, but maybe like, let's say, Quinte West. If the numbers make sense and if the cap rates work and it's a proper building, it's a 3-story building, you know, the building looks nice, the numbers are decent, there's a potential to lift the valuation.
Yeah.
Would you consider investing in a multifamily out of Durham GTA? So let's say 2-3 hours out.
No.
Still no? Why not?
Couple reasons. My first reason is, and this has been a pet peeve of mine, I'm sick of seeing all these people exiting real estate right now because it's not passive enough. Oh, real estate's not passive. I'm going to go to crypto. I'm going to go to options trading. I'm going to go to something else. Because real estate investing is not passive. There is an active component to it. And I'm always said I'm a big believer in investing where you live. Find a deal where you live. Find a deal. We're in Durham Region. We look and hunt for a good deal. We buy in equity, right? I would have to study that market. I'd have to commit to it. I'd have to be willing to travel there monthly, which I'm just not, right? We're here if there's an issue, if my tenants need something. Last week, my tenant, we have the electrical locks, and I guess the batteries had died. He was locked out of his home. Right? I drove by 15 minutes, said hi. He was so thankful, grateful. Little problems like things are going to come up, right? Like you can't expect that this is going to be, you know, and I know people are going to say, well, hire a property manager, but then you're managing the manager. And I don't know, for me, I just think when your investments are right next to you, I don't care how good the numbers are. I don't know that area. I know Oshawa and Whitby like the back of my hand. I know the streets. I know where the good areas. I know the people around here. I know handymen around here. I know plumbers, electricians. I know, you know, anything I need that I can get a hold of right away. I can trust them. I can go check on them. I don't know. I just think there's tremendous value in that. And, you know, besides the idea of like the appreciation or the market itself, like I'm really bullish on Durham Region as well. So if I wanted to get into multifamily, I'd find a deal here.
Are you frustrated by the lack of deals?
I'm busy. I have deals. Like, I don't know. Like, I think you got to hunt for deals, right? You know, to me, it's not, you know, people always want things handed to, they think real estate, you know, and this is why we talked about with JVs and joint venture partners and that, right? It's like, you know, once you realize how hard it is to get a good deal, that is like the value in any flip or any multifamily burst strategy, anything like that. Whoever can find the deal, which is takes knowledge, persistence, education, you know, takes someone, you know, being constantly there and you know, analyzing properties.
Yeah.
There's value in that, right? So, I mean, I don't know. I think if you want a deal, there you have to go out and find it and hunt it down, right? And it's there. If you want multifamily in Durham, go find it. You know, don't just reach out to someone and say, "Hey, you have a deal for me?" Like now, when people are calling me about deals, I'm like, "Hey, can you find me a property?" I'm like, "No." Yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, what?
Yeah.
It's just like, well, tell me what. Well, I was hoping for like, you know, a Oshawa bungalow under 500. I said, okay, cool. Are you door knocking? Well, no, I'm reaching out to realtors. Okay, if any realtor who finds a bungalow under 500K is not selling it to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're gonna have their own client. They're gonna have someone who's loyal to them, or they're gonna buy it themselves.
Yeah.
And finding deals is hard, right? Yeah. But I don't believe in driving or going somewhere else to find the deal. I don't know. I know a lot of people do, right? Drive for dollars is a big thing, right?
Yeah.
But then they're going to complain, had to drive out there and it wasn't, so I sold my property and I did this. Like, but when I'm buying something, I'm not selling ever.
Right.
Like my kids are going to own it. If I'm buying the land, I'm going to tear it down and build something new on it and keep that. That's always been my strategy, my thought process. So do I want to buy a business out in, you know, Fredericton or Calgary or, you know, even Quinte or something like that? I'm sure there's good deals out there. I'm sure the numbers look great. But do I want to buy a business out there that I'm going to keep for 25 years?
Likely not.
Yeah. You know?
Right.
It always goes back to thinking like this is buying a business, right? And like, you know, if I'm buying a business in Durham Region where I live, where it's making money from day one, I'm happy, right? I'm a happy camper.
Yeah, and I guess a lot of people are doing it, but they're also investing a lot of time to set up the, you know, the structure, the, you know, hire virtual assistants to help with this, with that, have a virtual team that you can connect with.
It could be done.
It could be done.
It could be done. There's no doubt it could be done.
How much work you want to put into something that is, you know, far from you.
Yeah. And there's always going to be things come up and problems, right? It's like, how are you going to deal with that? How is, you know, again, I'm a realtor in Durham Region. I have access to deals here, to people here.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. This is where I built up my business, right? So to me, that makes the most sense. Again, like we talked about with that other strategy, it's not that, you know, everyone has their own opinion and can run their business their own way. I just hate when people after the fact go, oh, well, that was so much work. You don't know how much time. It's like, well, yeah, I do. That's why you didn't calculate that in when you made that purchase.
Yeah.
Right? Like you better be prepared to, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm kind of looking at, you know, our project at Floral. I've probably been there, you know, every other day this week. I stopped by at Central Park. You know, we had a delivery coming in and just simple things like, you know, the company doesn't open a lockbox or doesn't open a door. The homeowner has to open the door.
They're dropping the materials on the end of the driveway, right? Who's going to do that?
Go deal with it. Yeah, exactly.
And it's a quick little thing that you can do yourself. It's a little labor, but again, saves you tons of money from hiring someone to go do that.
Yeah.
You know, and again, a lot of people, I think, buying these other properties where the numbers are amazing aren't calculating or factoring in all those extra costs, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. No, I agree. Like I see.
Remember, I still believe appreciation is the number one way you're making money. Even though I'm not ever like speculating for appreciation, but you know,
it is. It's mortgage paid on an appreciation, and appreciation probably
cash flow is just to survive.
Because,
So I'm like, am I going to drive for cash flow? I'm like, if I could find cash flowing properties in Durham, again, you know, are they harder to find right now? Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. But are they impossible? No.
No.
We've seen the rents go crazy too, right? And even caught us off guard. We're like, wait, how are these duplexes selling for 900,000? But it was like, what blindsided us was the rents.
Yeah. Yeah, we were, for the longest time, we were saying that rents are around $1,900, $2,000 for upper units. And
I feel like I
turns
blinked.
out people
I
are-
blinked and I'm like, holy shit, they've gone up $200 or $300
Yeah.
a month. And when did that happen?
Yeah.
That happened overnight, right? And I'm like, I got to get my tenants out of my... I'm just joking if you're hearing, if you're watching.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome, man.
Yeah, man. Anything else you want to chat about? Anything on your mind?
No, I just want more deals, man. Just want more deals.
What are your thoughts on driving for dollars? You were talking to me earlier about you're still sticking with, and here's a good question. And we talked about this a little bit, of people that are able to right now buy a property and list it on MLS as is, like a wholesale, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you're looking at one right now.
Yeah.
Are you going to pull the trigger on it? What are your thoughts?
Not going to pull the trigger on it. There's a very fast closing. It's I think it's like a 10-day closing.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, it's just very quick right now to do that.
When you got two projects on the go.
Two projects on the go, and I do want to be. The one promise I made is that I want to be more active on the realtor side as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if I do that, like, it's going to be 2 weeks of like stress nonstop to try and find funds for it.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to deal with that. Two, haven't seen the property. It's sight unseen. There's already 5 offers on it.
Oh, there's 5 on it.
There's 5 offers on
yeah,
it. So
okay.
it's pretty challenging to
So it's
win
going
in
to go
that
over
scenario.
even that list price or that asking price, yeah.
Seems like it, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, my thoughts on it is, if I can buy in Durham, in Oshawa, Whitby, then I'm buying here, right? I've been giving a bit more thought to the whole idea of buying slightly out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say slightly, like
Belleville.
an hour to 2 hours max, right? On the bigger side. But I would only do that if it's a multifamily that makes sense from a numbers perspective right now, and there's lift opportunity. Otherwise, bungalows and such, not a chance. I'm staying in Durham. Yeah, it's got to be a big enough deal where it makes sense.
If it was over like 12 units, then it's like, okay, no, and I could see that too, right? If it's a good enough deal, if it is, then, and it's worth your time and energy to.
Yeah, because my train of thought is right now, a 6-plex in Oshawa is probably $2 million for a turnkey. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it probably is.
Wow.
And then,
You know what I'm thinking about?
what? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Digby.
Digby, they might climb off for 1.3.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So triplexes and triplex and fourplexes are 1.3 now.
Mm-hmm.
So let's assume 6-plex in Oshawa is $2 million. In Quinte, they're around $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So there's $1 million difference. So, driving for $1 million difference, to me, it's worth it if there's an opportunity to lift the valuation on the property within like a 12-month period.
Yep.
If it's a 2 years of back and forth, and I've told you, there's certain things in life, like, I'm not giving up. Like, I don't want my weekends to be driving to Belleville.
No, that's it.
Back
right?
and forth, right? So I don't want to do that. But if there's a good enough opportunity where, let's say it's a 6-plex, 2 units are vacant, I can get working on that right away, turn that around.
You literally would be there every weekend.
Yeah,
You'd
pretty
have to go
much,
there during the week.
Yeah.
You'd have to it would consume you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, if that was your only job and you were just, it's different, right? But
so I guess, the answer is it really depends on what the deal is. Yeah.
money talks.
Money talks, baby. Yeah.
Good stuff, man.
Cool.
I think that's a good
Awesome.
episode.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Yeah.
Want to do the close?
Go for it. You're better than me.
Yes. Again, thank you everyone for watching. We appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it down in the comment section. If you have any new topics that you have for us that you would like us to discuss, feel free to drop those below as well. And if you can like and subscribe to our channel, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.